What do you do if you plan to work past age 65? Do you need to take Medicare? Should you enroll in Medicare? What about the penalties? This video will tell you everything you need to know about what to do with Medicare if you are working past age 65, so stay tuned. Medicare is your federal health insurance program for people age 65 and over and certain people under 65 with disabilities. And you've probably heard that if you don't enroll in Medicare when you're first eligible, you may face lifelong penalties. But in today's world, more and more people are choosing to work past age 65. And the government considers full retirement age today between 66 and 67 years old, depending on when you were born. So some people will not want to enroll in Medicare at age 65. And today I'm going to help you determine whether or not that's you. Traditional Medicare is made up of two parts, parts A and B, your hospital and your medical insurance coverage. So for most people, you will have to enroll in parts A and B when you turn 65, when you're first eligible, in order to avoid lifelong penalties later on. There's what we call the Part B late enrollment penalty. And this is a 10% penalty that gets tacked on to your Medicare Part B premium for every 12 months that you've gone without creditable coverage. So if you are someone who does not have any other health insurance or someone who has a marketplace health plan, if you are self-employed and you purchase your own health insurance, or if you are on COBRA or retiree coverage, then generally you will have to enroll in Medicare Parts A and B when you first turn 65. However, if you are actively working still and you have health insurance through your employer, or your spouse is actively working and you have health insurance through your spouse's employer, then you can delay your Medicare enrollment without penalty. You can delay it until you retire or until you come off of that employer plan. So this type of employer insurance is considered creditable for Part B, and that means you won't get any penalties later on. So something important to note here is the size of your employer. If your employer employs fewer than 20 employees, then Medicare is designed to pay first for Medicare eligible beneficiaries. Because of this, Medicare recommends that even if you are working past age 65, if you have health insurance through your employer, but your employer has fewer than 20 employees, then you should enroll in Medicare Parts A and B when you're first eligible in order to avoid claims issues. That being said, there are some common questions that I get about delaying Medicare, and so I want to answer these questions for you today. The questions that many people will ask me is, how do I let Medicare know that I want to delay if I'm still working? What do I do when I am ready to enroll in Medicare, when I'm ready to retire or come off of my employer plan? Is my employer insurance creditable for Part D as well, or could I see any penalties there for Part D prescription drug plan enrollment? And also, how does delaying Medicare impact my ability to enroll in a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan later on? So I am going to answer all of these questions for you right now, starting with the first question: how do I let Medicare know that I want to delay coverage if I'm still working? So if you are not yet collecting Social Security benefits when you turn 65, you are still actively employed, and you plan to keep your employer health insurance plan as you're still working past age 65, then you can do nothing. You do not need to enroll in Medicare Parts A and B. You will not face a penalty. You do not need to let Medicare know that you are not enrolling in Parts A and B. Now, many people will choose to enroll in Part A only because Part A is premium free. For most people, it's $0 a month, and it's your hospital insurance coverage. Now, I have a short video that I'll link in the description below here that tells you how to enroll in Part A only online if you are turning 65. It's really very simple. You go to the Social Security website, you go to apply for Medicare only, and when they ask you if you want Part B, you say no, and then you finish the application. That's how you enroll in Part A only. Now, you do want to keep in mind that if you have any part of Medicare, Part A and or Part B, then you can no longer make contributions into a health savings account. So if your employer plan is an HSA plan and you or your employer are making HSA contributions in your name, then you should also avoid enrolling in Medicare Part A so that you can keep making those HSA contributions. Now, if you are collecting Social Security benefits for at least 4 months before the month that you turn 65, then the government will automatically enroll you in Parts A and B of Medicare. And you're going to get a little red, white, and blue Medicare card in the mail 2 to 4 months before your birth month, saying that you are automatically enrolled in Parts A and B. Along with that Medicare card, Medicare will send you a letter stating, hey, if you don't want Part B right now, please fill out, sign this form, and send it back to us. And they'll include an envelope where you can mail it back into Social Security to say that you want to decline or delay your Medicare Part B enrollment. And so at this point, some people will ask, why shouldn't I just sign up for Parts A and B when I first turn 65? Even if I'm still working and I have health insurance through my job, couldn't hurt to have that extra coverage through Medicare. And my answer to that is that I don't advise enrolling in Medicare Part B if you are still working and you have health insurance coverage through your employer that you plan to keep. And there are a few reasons for this. So first of all, Medicare Part B isn't free. Most people have to pay $174.70 a month to be enrolled in Medicare Part B. And your employer insurance and Medicare don't coordinate benefits together all that well. So in most situations, you will still be fully subject to your employer plan's deductible, co-insurance, and co-payment amounts. So it's usually like you're paying this premium to be enrolled in Medicare Part B. You're paying for coverage that you're not even really using in most cases. Additionally, when you do sign up for Medicare Part B, you start the clock ticking on your Medicare Supplement open enrollment window. So this is a one-time window that you get that lasts 6 months from your Part B effective date. And during this window, you can choose any Medicare Supplement plan, Plan G, Plan N, any plan that's available to you from any insurance company, and you will be guaranteed to be approved for that plan at the preferred rate. So that's something else that's important to consider, and another reason to delay your Part B enrollment until you're ready to retire and you're ready to fully get onto Medicare. So now that you know who can and should delay Medicare when they are still working past age 65, the next question is, what do you do when you are ready to retire, when you are ready to go onto Medicare past age 65? So I'm going to link a document below that is the CMS official guideline for your Part B special enrollment period. Basically, if you are working past when you turn 65 and you have creditable employer health insurance coverage, then you have a special enrollment window to enroll in Medicare Part B whenever you want to. And you can also enroll in Medicare Part B up to 8 months after you retire or after you leave that employer coverage without any penalty. You don't need to wait until the open enrollment period in the fall for Medicare. You can use your Part B special enrollment period again at any time that you're actively employed and up to 8 months after you leave the employer health plan. You can apply online or you can submit these 2 specific forms to your local Social Security office. We recommend applying for Medicare about 2 to 3 months prior to when you want your Medicare effective date to be. Medicare won't let you apply too much farther than that. And keep in mind that even if you wait until the end of the month and you're applying for coverage to start the first day of the following month, Medicare will always honor that effective date. So even if Medicare takes a few weeks to process your application, which they probably will, they will still grant you that retroactive effective date as long as you applied sometime in the month prior. So if you decide to apply online, you will need to upload some type of proof that you have had creditable employer-based health coverage, and the application will tell you exactly what type of proof you need before you get started. Alternatively, in the video description below, I have linked the 2 forms that you can submit to your local Social Security office. And on the CMS 40B form where it says comments, you can put when you would like your Medicare Part B effective date to be, generally up to 2 to 3 months in advance. The government generally won't honor a retroactive Part B effective date, and if you don't put in any requested effective date, then they'll automatically make it the first day of the following month after which you applied. Now, when it comes to Part D of Medicare, this is your prescription drug components, there are also penalties associated with late Part D enrollment. However, in most cases, if you have creditable employer-based health insurance coverage that also covers prescriptions, then that counts as creditable coverage to also delay your Part D enrollment as well. And when you do decide to come off of that employer plan, you have a special enrollment period to enroll in Part D prescription drug coverage, whether that's through a standalone prescription drug plan or through a Medicare Advantage plan that includes prescription drug coverage. Keep in mind that when you do go to enroll in a Part D drug plan after you've retired or left the employer insurance plan, that Medicare doesn't really talk to your Part D drug plan company and let them know that you've had creditable employer insurance. So it's very common that the drug plan company will send you a notice in the mail wanting you to verify that you have had creditable Part D prescription drug coverage so that you don't get any penalties. So when you do decide to retire or come off of your employer plan and you apply and enroll in Medicare Part B, that is when your Medicare supplement open enrollment period starts. So if you are considering a medigap or Medicare supplement plan, those two words mean the same thing, you do have a 6-month window to choose any plan with any company and it will be approved. And that window starts based on your Part B effective date. Similarly, just like the Part D special enrollment period that I mentioned a moment ago, you also have a special enrollment period when you retire or leave employer coverage to choose a Medicare Advantage plan, as long as you have both Medicare Parts A and B and you live in the plan service area. Okay, so that is a lot of information that we just covered about who should delay Medicare and why when you're still working. So this is a topic that I always get a lot of questions about. It impacts a lot of seniors nationwide. It's likely that you may also have questions about what to do if you are working past age 65 or what to do when you are getting closer to retirement. So I've actually linked a retirement checklist below that my clients have found helpful. It outlines exactly what to do 6 months before you retire, 3 months before you retire, etc., so that you really have all of your ducks in a row to get set up on Medicare and your health insurance coverage as you move into retirement without any hiccups. I personally love a good checklist, so hopefully this will help you. And if you have any questions about finding and enrolling in the best Medicare plan for your needs, of course, that is what my team and I would love to help you with. We make our living by helping seniors roll in Medicare supplement plans and Medicare Advantage plans. So if you are needing one of these types of plans, chances are we are licensed in your area. We work for dozens of different insurance companies, and we would be happy to help. Our service is completely free of charge, and we have helped thousands of seniors with their Medicare plans. We'd love to help you too, so of course, please give us a call. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. Leave questions, comments for me below. I love hearing what you have to say. Share with a friend or neighbor or family member that might find this video helpful, and we'll see you soon.